Hello everyone, my name is Shreya and I am a legal intern at Lexis and Company. I am pursuing BLLB honors from Law College Dehradun Uttaranchal University. I am currently in 7th semester and I am glad to have this opportunity of interning with Lexis and Company, because of which I am able to present to you guys this video. So the purpose and topic for this video will be the Waqf and the Waqf board. So what is actually Waqf in the Muslim law? So let's begin. So the literal meaning of Waqf means to tie up or to hold. And if we speak about its legal meaning, it means the it means some permanent and absolute dedication. Basically, this is a permanent and an absolute dedication of property for any religious endowments or any pious act. You dedicate your property, you say that this is my property and I dedicate this property for any religious or any pious endowments. So the basis of this waqf is the Prophet Sunnat. From the Prophet Sunnat, this waqf have the concept of waqf have been defined. So I have told you the purpose. The purpose of the waqf is to basically derive spiritual benefit. Waqf was created with this purpose, that if you do something good, then you will have some spiritual benefits. That is, you can gain spiritual benefits by dedicating your property for the need of the poor people of some religious purpose or any pious endowments. So this was basically the purpose which was derived from the Prophet's Sunnat, the concept of waqf. Moving on, what are its what is its definition and its essentials? So waqf means detention. As I've said that you have to dedicate your property, so that property is detained for such purposes of religious and some other pious endowments. So according to Muslim law, it means first, inalienable lands which are used for some charitable purposes, and second, for pious endowments, those property which are used for pious endowments. So waqf literally means literally means some detention, stoppage, or tying up, or any dedication. It is one and all the same thing, that basically you will dedicate your property for any religious, charitable, or endowment act. So moving on, in India, what happens is that the waqf is a pious endowment which is inalienable. That is, once you have dedicated your property for such purposes, and next will be that you will not be able to alienate with that. You cannot gain that property back to you once you have dedicated that property to for waqf. This is what happens in India, but in Islamic law particularly, it means that Islamic law which is prevailed in some Islamic countries, and so what happens there is that we call waqf as an state lands, the land which is in the hands of the state, and such lands are inalienable and used for the charitable purpose and the pious endowments. So there was this act regarding the waqf. It is known as the Waqf Act of 1913, which defines waqf as some permanent dedication by a Muslim of any movable or immovable property for any purpose which is recognized by the Muslim law as pious, religious, or charitable. This is what we study again and again in this topic, that you have to dedicate your property for religious, pious, and charitable, for charity. So this is what Waqf Act also defines it as. So what are the essentials of Waqf? The motive of waqf should always be religious, and it is a temporal trust. And it is that endowment which is made in perpetuity, that is for lifelong, for which is permanent, for a made in perpetuity, that is for a very long time or a permanent time. So in the eye of law, after the endowment of the property is made, we regard it as that property belongs to the god and no one can regain it. That is, the property becomes immobilized and hence it further cannot be transferred. It becomes non-transferable, that is immobilized. And such dedication of work should be complete and permanent. That is, you cannot say that half the purpose of this work property will be charitable or religious or pious, and the other half of the other purpose for my dedication of the property will my own private use. Such will not be the condition which will make that property as the work property. You have to dedicate it wholly and permanently. So who is what is that person called who dedicates that property? He or she is known as the Waqif, that is the founder of the particular Waqf. And so the Waqif, the founder of that particular Waqf, is not entitled to take any benefit in the Waqf property, as I've mentioned earlier also. And a Waqf may be created in favor of the settlers' family, children and descendants. And moving on, any property which is capable of being endowed in perpetuity to the Waqf can be the subject matter of the Waqf, and it may be movable or immovable, but the thing always remains the same, that it should be permanent and it should be permanent or made in perpetuity. So who is a Mutawali? Mutawali is that person who takes care of the Waqf property, and he is only the mere manager, and he is not the owner of the Waqf property. So the Waqf property is not vested in him, and in the trust the property vests in the trustees. Trustees are those for whom that Waqf property is dedicated. So the Waqf cannot be contingent or conditional. It is not revocable, and it cannot be made for a limited period or temporary in nature. It has to be permanent. So how is the Waqf made? That is the making of a Waqf. Any Muslim person who has attained the age of majority and is of sound mind can make a Waqf. It is very simple, but it cannot be made for any illegal purposes or to defeat the creditors. That is, if you are making the Waqf property, you should not have any ill purpose behind it. So the object of making Waqf, I have told you that according to Mussalman Waqf Validating Act 1913, the ultimate object must be reserved for the poor, and this overrules the decision of the Privy Council in Abul Fatah Muhammad Ishaq versus Rusomi Chaudhry 1894. So what happened in this case? The two Muslims made a Waqf, and they themselves became the first Mutawalis. So the entire benefit was to go to their children and their upcoming generations, which was until the total extinction of that particular family. The benefit would go to their family only, and it would not go, then it would go to the poor. So the Privy Council had held that the such Waqf was invalid, as the object of the family was family aggrandizement. So the decision was negativated in India by the Act of 1913, and hence a family Waqf can be created and the benefit to the poor can be postponed. So in India there is this condition: if you want to create a Waqf for your own family, the benefit is to be given to your family. You can do such things because there may be a need for your family also which is to be fulfilled, and only then you can give it to the poor. You can reserve it for the poor later after your family. So this was the condition in India. So I'll discuss its other objectives and some other points, that who can make a work, and what is the work by non-Muslim or a Parda Nashin lady, the kinds of work, and more about Mutawali and its powers and functions in my next video. So this was it for today. I hope you guys have liked the video. So thank you everyone for watching. Do not forget to like and share this video. If you have any question, do ask me and share with me the feedback also. Thank you so much for watching everyone.